The salesman hands you the key fob, not keys, a key fob, small, black, heavier than it looks. You've seen this exact thing in YouTube reviews. At 2 a.m., on your phone, 100 times. Now it's in your hand. The salesman says something about the paperwork. You don't hear him. You are already walking toward it. Under the dealership lights, it doesn't look like a car. It looks like something that shouldn't exist at this price. You open the door, and you don't get in. You lower yourself in. The seat wraps around you like it was made for exactly your body. Low, cockpit low. You reach out and touch the carbon fiber trim on the center console. You've seen this trim in every review, every wallpaper, every spec sheet you memorized at work when you should have been doing something else. Under your fingertips, it feels different than you imagined, more real. The row of buttons on the console, the ones that look like a fighter jet cockpit, are right there. Inches from your hand, you grip the steering wheel. Both hands, the way you've gripped it 1,000 times in your head, you press the start button, the V8 catches, and the sound fills the dealership showroom and travels up through the seat, through the steering wheel, into your hands, into your chest. You sit there for a moment, not driving, just feeling it. This is yours, completely yours, which you got because you spent 3 years building your credit score, which felt like winning. You pull out of the dealership. The city opens up in front of you. Night air, empty road. You press the accelerator, and the sound that comes out is not like anything you've heard from a phone speaker. It goes through you. You have no idea what you just signed, but right now, it doesn't matter. Nothing does. Level 1. The first 30 days, you wake up the next morning, and for exactly 1 second, you forget. Then it hits you. You are out of bed before your alarm. You don't shower first. You go to the window. It's there. On the street below, under the early morning light, it looks different than last night, more real, more yours. You stand there for a moment, just looking at it. Coffee can wait. The first week is something you will never be able to explain to someone who hasn't lived it. You find reasons to drive, groceries you don't need, routes that add 40 minutes to your commute, a coffee place across town you've never been to. You park in the lot at work, far corner, 2 spaces. Your coworker Jason walks past it on the way in. He stops, looks back at you. That's yours? You try not to smile too hard. You fail. At lunch, someone asks where you got it. You tell the story. You will tell this story 17 more times this month. It never gets old. On Friday, you drive to the coffee place near your apartment. You set the key fob on the counter while you order. Not on purpose. Okay, maybe a little on purpose. The girl behind the counter glances at it, then at you, then back at the fob. Nice car. You leave a bigger tip than usual. That weekend, Marcus texts the group chat. Bar in Midtown. You drive there. You could have taken the train. 40 minutes faster. You drive. You park 2 blocks away from the bar. Walk the rest. Marcus sees you walk in and already knows. You actually did it. Not a question. The night is good. You pick up a round. You didn't plan to, but tonight feels like a night for it. On the way home, you take the long way. Windows down. You hit the sport mode button. The exhaust note changes. Deeper. Angrier. The city lights blur past. And for a moment, everything you've ever worked for, every late night, every paycheck you didn't spend, every time you said not yet, feels justified. This is what it was for. This is exactly what it was for. You don't notice the number on the odometer. You don't notice that the tank is already half empty. And you definitely don't notice that somewhere across town tonight, your friend Devin is sitting at his kitchen table, looking at mortgage pre-approval numbers. Level 2, the small bites. The insurance bill arrives on a Tuesday, $490 per month. You stare at the notification for a second, close it. You knew it would be high, roughly. Saturday morning, no alarm. You are awake at 7:30 anyway. You make coffee. You don't drink it inside. You take it downstairs. You lean against the driver's door in the parking garage, coffee in one hand, and just look at it. Nobody is watching. You don't care. 6 weeks in. Still, your dad drives up that weekend, 2 hours from where he lives. He said he just wanted to catch up. You both know that's not why he came. You walk him down to the parking garage. He sees it from the entrance. He doesn't say anything. He just walks toward it slowly, the way men walk toward things they respect. He circles it once, runs his hand along the rear quarter panel, crouches down to look at the wheels, stands up. Let me see the engine. Not nice car, not must be expensive. Let me see the engine. You pop the rear trunk where the V8 sits. He leans in, quiet for a moment. 6.2? 6.2. He nods slowly, the way he nodded when you got your first real job, the way he nodded at your college graduation. That nod. You've been waiting for that nod your entire life. Later, you take him out on the highway. He sits in the passenger seat, hands on his knees, looking straight ahead. You hit sport mode. The exhaust opens up. You feel him tense slightly in the seat next to you, not from fear, from the sound. You pass a truck in the left lane. The driver looks over, does a double take. Your dad sees it. He doesn't say anything, but the corner of his mouth moves, just slightly. On the way back into the city, at a red light, he looks over at you. You worked for it. 3 words. That's all. You don't need more than 3 words. 3 days later, you are in a parking garage downtown, far corner, 2 spaces, away from the other cars. You pull in perfectly, and then you open the door, and the edge catches the concrete pillar, not hard, a brush. You stop breathing for a second. You get out and look, a mark, small, the kind most people wouldn't notice. You notice. You stand there staring at it, in a parking garage, for longer than you want to admit. That night, you look up paint correction services, $450 minimum. You close the tab. The scratch stays, but you think about it every time you get in, every single time. March comes. Marcus texts the group chat, beach house for the long weekend. Split 4 ways, it's $300 each. You open your banking app without thinking. The car payment came out 4 days ago, $1,108, plus the insurance, plus 2 fill-ups last week. You type back, can't make it this time, work stuff. It's not work stuff. You set the phone face down. Sunday night you see the photos on Instagram. Marcus, Tyler, Devin, sunset over the water, someone's hand holding a beer toward the camera. You like the photo, close the app. You go downstairs and sit in the car for a while. Engine off, just sitting. Your dad's voice in your head. You worked for it. You still believe that. You need to believe that. And somewhere across town tonight, Devin just got pre-approved $85,000 for a down payment on a house. You don't know this yet. Level 3, the math you don't want to do. A year in, the car is not new anymore. It's just yours, which is different. Better, actually. New is exciting. Yours is something quieter than that. You know exactly how she sounds at cold start on a winter morning. You know which gear she likes on the on-ramp to the highway. You know the exact spot in the parking garage where the ceiling is low enough that you slow down every single time. This is yours in a way that new never is. You finally got the scratch fixed. $450. You told yourself you'd wait. You waited 6 weeks. Then one Saturday, you just drove to the detailer and handed over the card. Didn't think about it, just did it. When you picked it up that afternoon, you stood in the parking lot and looked at the wheel for a long time, clean, like it never happened, worth every dollar. You believed that completely, for about a week. Then the credit card statement came. You scrolled past the 450 without stopping. You've gotten good at that, scrolling past numbers without really seeing them. Spring comes. Your manager calls you into his office on a Thursday afternoon. There's a position opening in Austin. More responsibility, 18% more salary. He slides a folder across the desk. You pick it up, and before you even open it, your brain is already doing the calculation. New city, new insurance rates, shipping the car or driving it down, new apartment, higher rent, and the car payment. The car payment goes everywhere with you, $1,108 every single month for 4 more years. You tell your manager you need to think about it. He nods. Take the weekend. You take the weekend. You don't go to Austin. That same month, Devin calls. Not a text, an actual call. You haven't spoken properly in a while. He sounds different, settled, like a man who has somewhere to be. We're closing next Friday, he says. 3 bedrooms, backyard, 20 minutes from downtown. You say the right things. Congratulations. That's huge. You deserved it. You hang up and you sit there in the quiet of your apartment, doing the math you've been avoiding for a year. Not the monthly payment. You know the monthly payment, the real number. Payment plus insurance plus fuel plus maintenance, multiplied by 1 year. $22,000. Gone. In 1 year. You open Zillow, not to look at Austin, just to look. Devin's neighborhood, 3 bedrooms, backyard. The listings say what you already know. Down payment on a house like that is roughly what you've spent on the car in 12 months. You close Zillow. You close the banking app. You go downstairs. You start the engine. The V8 catches. The sound fills the garage. And for a moment, just a moment, it still works. The sound still does something, but it's quieter now. Not the engine. The feeling. The feeling is quieter now, and the math is still sitting there on your kitchen table where you left it. It will be there when you get back. It's not going anywhere. Level 4, the trap 3 years in. The car payment comes out on the 1st, every month, like a subscription you forgot you signed up for. Your company announces a reorg in February. 3 people on your team are gone by Friday. You survive. But for 72 hours, you don't sleep properly because you realize something you'd been avoiding. You cannot afford to lose this job, not with the car payment, not with the insurance, not with 3 years still left on the loan. The car doesn't just cost you money, the car costs you options. Your girlfriend finds an apartment, better building, better neighborhood, the kind of place you actually want to live. She sends you the listing on a Tuesday night. You open it, and before you read the description, you think about your apartment, the one you've lived in for 3 years, $580 a month, the cheapest unit in the building. You picked it on purpose, not because you couldn't afford better, because the car needed the difference. You've been living in a 400 square foot box, so a Corvette could sit in the garage below. You never said that out loud before. You're saying it now. You open the calculator app, her half of rent plus your half, plus your car payment, plus insurance, plus utilities. The number doesn't work, not comfortably, not with any margin left over. She calls while you're still staring at the screen. So what do you think? You tell her you need to think about it. Silence on the line. Think about what exactly? You don't have a good answer. Devin sends a photo on a Sunday, no caption, backyard, grass, grill, his kid running toward the camera. You stare at it for a long time. You don't like it, not because you're not happy for him, because you don't know what you feel. Devin's down payment was $85,000. You've spent $68,000 on the car in 3 years. Same money, different life. You put the phone down, you go downstairs, you sit in the car, you don't start it, just sit in the quiet, and for the first time, the leather doesn't smell like freedom, it just smells like leather. You think about your dad. You worked for it. You did. But lately you've been wondering what else you could have worked for. You sit there until it gets dark, then you drive. Not because you want to, because it's the one thing that still makes sense to do with it. Late night highway, empty lanes, sport mode. The sound comes, and for a few minutes, out here alone in the dark, it's still good, quietly good, the way things are good, when you're not sure you'd make the same choice again. Year 5, 1 year left on the loan. You know this without checking, the way you know your own heartbeat. The car is yours now in a way it never was at the beginning. Every scratch, every mile, every 3 a.m. when you lay there doing the math. You know this car the way you know a decision you can't undo. You still drive it the same route sometimes, late night, highway empty, sport mode. The sound is the same as it always was. The engine didn't change. You did. Year 6. The notification comes on a Tuesday morning. Final payment processed. $1,108 for the last time. You stare at it longer than you expected. 72 months. 6 years. You do the full number for the first time. Not the monthly. The total. Loan payments. Insurance. Fuel. Maintenance. The scratch repair. The 2 sets of tires. The registration fees. You write it down on paper. Old school. Because some numbers you need to see in your own handwriting. $137,000. You look up what the car is worth today. $32,000. You sit with those 2 numbers for a while. 137,000 in. 32,000 asset. You go downstairs. You stand next to it in the garage, under the same fluorescent lights, where you stood 6 years ago. The first morning after, coffee in hand, nobody watching, you don't care. The car is exactly the same, you are not. You think about the guy who drove off the dealership lot 6 years ago, hands slightly shaking, city opening up ahead, the sound going through his chest. He had no idea what he just signed. You did, though. No, you didn't either. Nobody does. That's the thing about a decision that takes 6 years to finish. You can only see it clearly once it's done. Devin is putting in a pool this summer. You heard through Marcus. You're not bitter, not exactly. You open the door. You lower yourself in. The seat wraps around you, the way it always has. You press the start button. The V8 catches. The sound fills the garage, goes through the seat, through the wheel, into your hands, into your chest, same as the first night, exactly the same. And you sit there, not driving, just feeling it, the way you did 6 years ago. You still don't know if it was worth it, but you know this. It was yours. All of it. The payments, the scratch, the 3 a.m. math, the nights you didn't go out, the apartment that was too small, the folder you never opened, all of it, yours, nobody else's. You back out of the garage slowly. The city is quiet this early. You don't know yet where you're going. You don't need to. For the first time in 6 years, you have nowhere to be, and nothing coming out on the first.